What happens if the strongest captain in Soul Society history fights the monster form that terrified even Ulquiorra? So let's try to dissect this. Yamamoto versus Vasto Lorde Ichigo. No holding back, no plot armor, just raw destruction. Vasto Lorde Ichigo. Let's start with the monster himself. Vasto Lorde Ichigo isn't just Ichigo with a mask. This form is basically Hollow Instinct taking complete control while amplifying Ichigo's already absurd spiritual pressure. The moment this form appeared, the entire tone of the fight changed. Ulquiorra, one of the strongest Espada, went from calm and analytical to genuinely overwhelmed. And remember, this was after Ulquiorra unlocked Segunda Etapa, a transformation so dangerous even Aizen didn't know about it. But it's Aizen, so he probably knew. Doesn't matter. Yet Vasto Lorde Ichigo treated him like prey. Speed? Absolutely insane. Ichigo blitzed Ulquiorra repeatedly before he could react. Not anticipate, not defend, react. His regeneration was also ridiculous. A literal hole through the chest? Didn't matter. That's one of the biggest advantages here. Endurance through hollow regeneration. Unlike normal Soul Reapers, this version of Ichigo can recover from catastrophic damage mid-fight. And, offensively, every casual attack looked nuclear. His Cero blasts dwarfed buildings. One swing of his claws shattered massive structures. Even his raw spiritual pressure distorted the battlefield. But here's the scariest part. Instinct. This form doesn't hesitate. It doesn't monologue. It doesn't play fair. The second it identifies danger, it goes for the kill instantly. That makes Vasto Lorde Ichigo terrifying against technical fighters because he fights more like a wild predator than a swordsman. And unlike regular Ichigo, he's not mentally limiting himself. No fear, no mercy, no restraint. But there are weaknesses. First, intelligence. This form is powerful, but not tactical. It relies heavily on overwhelming force and instinctive aggression. Second, stamina uncertainty. We never saw this form sustained over a long battle. It appeared briefly under extreme emotional conditions. And third, probably the most important, we don't know if his durability scales against abilities designed to erase, rather than physically damage. Because Yamamoto's flames aren't normal fire, they erase, and that changes everything. Now we get to the monster all monsters feared, Captain Commander Yamamoto. This man was so powerful that simply releasing his Bankai threatened the Soul Society itself. Not attacking, not swinging, just existing in Bankai. That's absurd. His Zanpakuto, Ryujin Jaka, is the oldest and strongest fire-type Zanpakuto ever. And in Bankai, the flames aren't visible because all the heat gets compressed into the blade itself. Temperatures reach around 15 million degrees. That's comparable to the core of the sun, meaning anything touched by the blade is basically erased from existence. Not burned, gone. Then there's Zanka no Tachi West, a cloak of heat surrounding Yamamoto. Getting near him becomes lethal, meaning Vasto Lorde Ichigo's aggressive close-range fighting style could actually become a disadvantage. Every slash, every claw attack, every direct rush risks total destruction. And Yamamoto isn't slow either. People underestimate this constantly. Even in old age, he was fast enough to pressure elite Quincy fighters and overwhelm opponents with centuries of combat mastery. But what truly gives Yamamoto the edge is experience and control. He's fought wars for over 1,000 years. He understands combat psychology, energy control, and timing on a level Ichigo simply doesn't. And unlike Ulquiorra, Yamamoto wouldn't panic under pressure. He would analyze, adapt, then execute. The biggest question becomes this: can Vasto Lorde Ichigo land a decisive hit before Yamamoto activates Bankai fully? Because once Zanka no Tachi comes out, survival itself becomes the challenge. So who wins? If this is pure raw power and ferocity, Vasto Lorde Ichigo is absolutely capable of overwhelming almost anyone in Bleach. His speed, regeneration, and killing instinct are monstrous. But against Yamamoto specifically, things change. Yamamoto's abilities are a nightmare matchup. Vasto Lorde Ichigo thrives in close combat. Yamamoto turns close combat into suicide. And unlike Ulquiorra, Yamamoto has the experience and destructive capability to end the fight permanently. So in most scenarios, Yamamoto wins. High difficulty, but decisively once Bankai enters the field. Because overwhelming power is terrifying, but overwhelming power refined over 1,000 years, that's something else entirely. Who do you think wins? And which Bleach fight should we dissect next?